never do that.
This meeting is being recorded.
There you go. Just so everybody knows it. So, all right. Hey, Chris, keep it clean, right? Nobody, no cursing today. So just teasing.
No cursing.
All right. So, all right.
Bad jokes.
No bad dad jokes today. That's right.
Oh my goodness.
We have tons of time. Well, you know, Chris, we do have 3 minutes before noon. So I think that does call for bad dad jokes. So if you do have any.
Oh, well, you know, we do hot upset forging here, and it gets pretty hot in the shop. And you heard about the guy that evaporated, didn't you?
No, Chris, I didn't hear what happened to the guy that evaporated.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, he'll be missed.
But boy, that was.
We got lots more. We go through them every morning here.
Nice. You know, so you guys are missing. If you're not at Edgerton Forge, you're missing out. That's for sure. So, all right. So we have a really fun program planned for everybody today. So, Nicole, I hit record. I don't have LinkedIn, but I did drop your LinkedIn and Chris's LinkedIn profile in the chat box. So we've got that going on. And who else? I think somebody else popped in here. We got Scott joined us. Scott, I think, did I send you a LinkedIn connection? I think so. Where are you? So Scott's here. Reagan's here. Maddie's here. Hey, Scott, how are you, man?
Good.
All right. You're with Best Equipment. You have the best equipment is word on the street. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. My name's Curt. Great to have you here. And guys, as you're chiming in, Jay, Reagan, they've dropped their LinkedIn profiles in the chat box. Love to see, drop your website in there, any social, wherever you're hanging out, feel free to connect with a great little networking opportunity. And what do we have, like Nicole, like 30 whole seconds to go, right? So we've let it. Chris, any good dad jokes? Any more good dad jokes?
Let's see. There was a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle. What was the difference between them?
Well-dressed. Any answers? Anybody have the answer out there? What is it, Chris?
A tire.
It's all about the attire, right? It's all about the attire. That was good, Chris. That was a good one. All right. Well, it's hey, there's
up my dad joke game here. I don't
have
you gotta wants to compete with that, Chris.
Gene Jones, do you have any good dad jokes for us before we kick things off?
I'm a terrible joke teller. No.
I'm not a terrible joke teller. So, well, hey, I think we're coming right to the top of the hour. I'm letting people in. I think I saw Julie sneak in here. Gene from the Purdue MEP is in the house. Gene or Julie, do you guys want to give a little intro, a little shout out to the Purdue MEP for folks as we're getting things warmed up?
Okay, well, I'll jump in there. I didn't hear Julie chime in. So Purdue Manufacturing Extension Partnership, as the name implies, we're focused on manufacturers in the state of Indiana. All types of services, lean, quality, leadership, advanced manufacturing training. So happy to talk to any company about that. And we strive to also find state and federal funding to support that training to bring down the cost to Indiana small to medium manufacturers. 2 grants in particular. We have a Department of Defense grant, and there's also a state grant, Next Level Jobs, that's working today. So thank you for that. Curt, I won't rob you of any more of your time because I'm ready for this enthralling SEO strategies made simple, because I'm a simple person and I know that you and Nicole will provide great training. I will say though that for the attendees, the companies that have undertaken this engagement with Curt and Nicole, without exception, have asked for extended time, which I think is a compliment to the quality of the product, the need of the product, and the quality of the professionals. Back to you, Curt.
Gene, dude, You warmed my heart with that one, Gene. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you guys. So as everybody's coming in, man, I'm a multitasker. I'm not a good multitasker, but I'm driving. I've got record Nicole. So that took off. We've got the program in place. I'm letting people in the house here. I think Lisa joined us. I saw David, Carmen. We've got my friend Diane Byer. Erica's here. So who else we've got? Lisa Bachman. Lauren is here. I love that name, Lauren. It's my daughter's name. So guys, happy Wednesday. Let's get things kicked off, and I'm going to be letting people in, but my name's Curt Anderson. Complete honor, privilege to be here today with you at the Purdue University MEP. As Gene just said, this is the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. There's a MEP, Manufacturing Extension Partnership, in all 50 states. And boy, between us, you guys in the great state of Indiana, you are certainly blessed with a rock star team. Julie's here, Gene's here. They help manufacturers with just about anything that you can think of. The great thing about the MEP for manufacturers, sometimes you feel like you're in a silo, you're on your own trying to figure your nose to the grindstone, trying to figure things out. But the MEP has just a wealth of resources and information for you, from lean, operational excellence, HR, workforce assistance. And we're going to talk today about digital marketing. As Gene said, man, we're going to make SEO a little bit simple. So let's dig in. What I'd love to do, guys, if you're just chiming in here, first off, Nicole, let me give a big thank you to everybody here for making incredible, amazing, wonderful products here in the great USA. Let's get a little USA chant going. USA, USA, USA. USA. Keep it going. Keep it going. So guys, thank you. We know how challenging it's been. It was before COVID. It's tough being in manufacturing. COVID didn't make it any easier. Supply chain, workforce. But hey, let's block out everything for the next 60 minutes. We're going to take a deep dive with you guys. And so, hey, I want to, Gene just said, if you just chimed in, we have an awesome grant program here at Purdue University. We're going to go through a little case study with my dear friend, Chris Pearson. We're going to talk about that in 1 minute. So we have a couple nice opportunities for you at the end. We have a complimentary website audit to offer you guys. And again, as Gene mentioned, there's a great grant funding opportunity for you through the Purdue MEP. So let me back up a minute. Where are you? Hey, Chris. Can you wave to everybody? Are you there?
Hey,
there's Chris Pearson. So, hey, Chris Pearson from Edgerton Forge, dude. How are you today?
doing great. Glad to be here.
Well, hey, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Know that you're super busy. So Nicole, Donnelly have had the honor and privilege of working with Chris over the past few months. Nicole, I want to give a shout out to you, my friend. You're an inbound marketing expert. You are a HubSpot guru. Give a little intro to everybody and what you have going on in your world.
Yes, I am the founder of Donnelly Marketing Group. I am a fierce advocate for small businesses, love helping small businesses be successful. I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur. My dad, my grandfather, my great grandfather all started, owned, and built successful small businesses. So I'm super passionate about helping small business succeed. And I've really loved partnering with Curt to be part of this program, and love all things inbound marketing and SEO. And so, yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's great.
Perfect, guys. And what I've done, again, if you just chimed in, a number of you have already done so, but I've dropped myself, I've dropped Chris, and I dropped Nicole. I dropped all of our LinkedIn profiles in the chat box. Boy, I strongly encourage, invite, welcome you to do the same. If we were in person, we'd be high-fiving, handing out business cards. This is a great little networking opportunity. Drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat box. If you're not active on LinkedIn, I strongly encourage you to do so, but drop your website. We'd love to know what you have going on. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to cover an SEO case study, and Chris from Edgerton Forge has kindly offered up his services today. We've been working with Chris the past few months, so we're going to run through a little bit of a case study for you guys. And this is Edgerton Forge. Strongly encourage you, Jody, if you're out there, if you want to drop, Jody's on the team at Edgerton Forge. If you want to drop your website in the chat box. And again, let's all connect with each other. It's a great time to move forward. So, all right. Man, I jumped ahead there, Nicole. Hey, is everybody ready to start pouring it on out there in SEO? Huh? How about a show of hands? Can I see a show of hands? Who's ready to start rocking it, right? Heck yeah, we are. Because you know what? At Purdue University, Nicole, this is the advanced crowd, okay? This is the advanced crowd. So I'm going a little high. Chris, like we kind of took it simple, and Gene said, hey, you need to take it slow, but this is the advanced crowd. So we're going to dig deep on SEO right now. So Nicole, Here's two terms that I have for SEO marketing success. Two terms. Number one is KYS. Could represent KISS, right? Probably not the best term during COVID, but KYS. Number two is HYS. Now, if we said HIS, that doesn't sound real nice, but what is KYS? Can you start with that for everybody, please?
Know your soulmate. This is the foundation of all good marketing and all good SEO strategy. You really need to know who it is that you're targeting, who needs your product, wants it, and absolutely has to have it. And what is it about them that is, that is unique that you can target and talk to. So, you want to know your soulmate first and foremost.
Perfect. Now, Chris, does everybody know every person has a favorite radio station on the planet? Did you know WIIFM is every person's favorite radio station on the planet? What's in it for me with your marketing, with your sales pitch, with everything that you do, especially today on SEO? We need to flip the script. Your ideal buyer is thinking about who all day, every day? Themselves, right? We're out there trying to sell. And unfortunately, they're not really worried about us. They're worried about themselves. So what we want to do is we want to flip the script. And instead of with them, I have a new term for everybody out there today. You can say it's either Wi-Fi's, might pronounce it Wi-Fi's. I don't know, Whitney down in Houston, she might pronounce it a little bit differently, right? You see Whitney's here today, Nicole? What's in it for your soulmates? Okay, what's in it for your soulmates? And we're going to go through a little process here. And Chris, what we did when we started with you is we took a deep dive into your buyer persona. Okay. Now this is an example, different client that we work with, another manufacturer, but they're targeting the facilities manager, Mario. They're also targeting Taylor, the interior designer. Talk about a couple of the soulmates that you're targeting at Edgerton Forge.
Sure. So we kind of did the same thing. We developed really two different ones, depending on the types of customers we have. So we've got our smaller size customers where the soulmate might be not just a buyer, but it might be an engineer, it might be the owner of the company, general manager. So, somebody at a smaller company, they've got a lot of things on their plate. They don't have a lot of time. They need to know that we're there to help them. We're there to teach them. We're there to help them. And what can we do to serve them? The other persona we built was for a little bit larger company where you maybe have multiple layers and you might have a buyer at a certain level. Their job focus is to buy, and we've got to help them figure out, how can we help them with their need for the day? They've got a forging, they've got a source. They don't really know a lot about forgings. Maybe they don't know the specific types of forgings they need. We've got to be there to help them out.
Absolutely, guys. So again, as manufacturers, and just for the record, I hate to tell you, I tried connecting with you guys on LinkedIn. I checked out every person's website. You guys are doing an awesome job. If you want to stick around at the end, Nicole and I we're going to hang out. And if you have if you want to have us pull up your website, I can pull up your website and we can go through a few things. But when you take a look at this slide right here, understanding your ideal buyer, we call them soulmates. We need to take a clear, concise understanding of their goals, frustrations, motivations. Nicole, why is this so critical for just marketing success as a whole?
So critical because it makes it so much more efficient. I'll tell you a story about this. So the other day, my sister-in-law came over and she was so busy, she needed help. She didn't have time to get a birthday gift for her son's friend's birthday party. And I said, you know what, I'll go get the birthday gift for you. I'll go do it. I'll take care of it. But I had no idea who this boy was. I didn't know what he liked. I didn't know anything about his interests. I didn't know what toys he liked to play with, what he liked to do in his spare time. I didn't know anything. So I go into this toy store and I'm like flying blind. I'm trying to find out anything that this child might like. And it just took me so much time because I didn't really know anything about what it is that he wanted or needed. So if I would have taken the time to ask her some more questions about his interests, how old he was, some of those qualities and attributes, then when I went to the store, I would have been able to much more quickly been able to find out what it is that he needed and wanted. And it's the same thing with your buyers. The more that you know and understand exactly what their challenges are, their pain points, what keeps them up at night, what motivates them, the easier it's going to be for you to help them find the right solution quickly and accurately and really make their day.
Absolutely. I love that. Guys, if you want to, Diane, Whitney, anybody out there, if you guys want to play along, drop that in the chat box. Like, who is your ideal buyer? Who's your soulmate? You're taking notes at home. If you're a manufacturer, odds are, who is it? Probably that engineer, somebody in purchasing, somebody in buying. Nicole, we were just on a call with a client, it's field aid, they target FBI agents, right? Field agent Scott, it was James, the engineer. So we want to have a clear, concise understanding. And Nicole, you always talk about empathy and curiosity. So let's step right into number 2, how, the key to success for SEO strategies, help your soulmate. Talk about that empathy and curiosity, please.
Yes, absolutely. And I love Chris, when he was talking earlier, he used the word help multiple times, how he wants to help his customers with their upset forging. And that's what you want to start thinking about when you're thinking about your customers. It's not about selling them something, it's about trying to help them solve a problem. And the more that you can think about it from that perspective, that you're there to help, you're there to be their guide. You're not there to be their hero. You're not the hero, right? You're the guide and you want them to be the hero. How can you help them win the day? That is going to be the key to success. And that starts with curiosity. It starts with asking the right questions. And the more questions you ask, the more you're naturally going to have empathy, which will help you be able to connect with and identify their problems and help them better.
Absolutely. And Chris, as we were digging deep into Edgerton Forge, we're talking about different forging processes, and we're going to talk about your keywords next. But boy, I don't care what business we're in. What are we selling? What's our favorite word here?
Selling trust.
We're selling trust, man. It's, with supply chain challenges, can you come through? Can you deliver on time? Are you a quality supplier? Are you somebody that I can count on? Do you have my back when my customer is chirping in my ear, right? So as manufacturers out there, you guys are doing an amazing job. Again, I checked out all your websites. You guys are absolutely crushing it. But think about, you are selling trust. And today we're going to talk about consistency, that reliability. And let's take it a little bit further. Nicole, talk about this aspect for your SEO. And we're going to go into some different examples. But why do we want to be I'm a manufacturer. Why do I need to be the teacher? Talk about this, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you want to position yourself as the expert. When people are looking for researching a product, more and more people are doing their research online before they even speak to a sales rep. 85% of the buying process in B2B is happening before they pick up the phone on the web. And so you want to really be positioning yourself as helping your customer make that right decision and make that right purchase so that they'll be ready when the time is right for them to reach out. And they're searching, they're already on the web searching, they're asking questions in Google all the time. And you want to position yourself so that you're the one that's right there, front of mind, answering those questions that they're typing into Google right away, and position yourself to be right there to help them.
Perfect segue. So let's dig into our keywords. Okay. So keyword strategy. Okay. Now we understand our ideal buyer. We identified that soulmate and really took a deep dive into what are their motivation? What's their motivation, their goals, frustrations, challenges, right? Now let's dig into keywords. Okay. Keyword strategy is basically this. It's keyword research is simply understanding your soulmates, what they're asking, where are they hanging out at, where are they asking those questions, and how do you deposit yourself into the conversation? How do we get you in front of the conversation instead of your competition? Let's keep this party rolling. My friend Chris, we started off with RICs. Can you please enlighten everybody? What on earth what are RICs? What does this have to do with keyword strategies?
Sure thing. RICs. So RICs are ridiculously important keywords.
All right, let's all say that together. It feels really good when you say that together. We're going to say it on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ridiculously important keywords. Right? We want to focus on your ridiculously important keywords. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's take another step. Your keywords, if this is brand new, if this is foreign, you're like, dude, what is a keyword? I don't know what you're talking about. Chris, what did keywords mean to you a few months ago?
We had some keywords when we kind of talked, but I don't think we really understood what the keywords were. I think we were talking about zarfs.
We were talking, and you know what, dude, I must have sent you my presentation because we're going to dig into it. Guys, what you want to do, if you did your SWOT analysis, right, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, Your keywords are what you are absolutely best at, what God put you on this God's green earth to do. But what's important is you want to niche down with your keyword strategy. Nicole, let's talk about that a second. And what I would love to do, if you guys want to participate, a little participation game, let's have a little brag party. Put in the chat box, or hopefully if you're taking notes at home, I'd love for you to put down what are your keywords or your processes, things, let's have a little brag party, but put in a chat box, if you would, what are you absolutely best at? Nicole, while they're doing that, talk about like, what are we thinking about with these ridiculously important keywords?
Yeah, you want to niche down. I think that's really important that you said that. So as you're thinking about what are you really absolutely the best at, you want to think about your soulmate and what your target niche is, right? So when you're thinking about Google, the shorter the keywords are, the bigger the pie is, right? So it's going to be much more difficult for people to find you if you're competing against a really short keyword. And so you want to try to have these longer keywords, questions, for example. You want to optimize for questions that your customers are asking, and make sure that your keywords are a little bit longer so that you're not competing as much against more people in the search.
So we'll jump, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, Chris, but so you and I, we connected back in March. So I connect with Chris for probably first, maybe it was our second meeting, and I had no clue. I knew, I've heard of foraging. I had no idea what upset foraging was. So you see this screenshot says 1 day ago. So the day that night I shot a video, I'm like, man, and as manufacturers, what Nicole's describing, we're going to walk through some examples. We encourage you to niche down with your keyword strategy. If you're trying to target contract manufacturer, 3D printing, something really broad, CNC, metal fabrication, those terms are too broad. We need to niche that down. So just for giggles, after I met Chris, I did a little video on the resource guide for made in USA upset foraging. I'm like, because his term, when you niche that down and you have multiple words in a keyword, it's so much less competitive, and your buyer is likely to type that. The average keyword search now, the average Google search is 5 words. So I did made in USA upset foraging. Within 24 hours, you see that little goofy bald guy right there? Within 24 hours, I had the #1 position. Chris, were we dying or what? What was your thoughts on that?
Amazing. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. We're back on page 5 and you're on page 1 with one video.
So we're going to
Overnight.
literally overnight. So a couple takeaways right there. If you're taking notes, video. We're going to be talking about that. Focusing on your keywords. Now, Chris, you teed it up, dude. Here's a great question for everybody. Boy, Nicole, we're constantly challenging ourselves. Just share this. What's the thought process here about, is the soulmate typing exactly what our RICs are? What do you think?
I'll give you an example. So I have a client that sells filtration equipment. Okay, so these are what we call filter bags in the industry. They're these very long, tubular bags that go into these air filtration systems, huge, they're in factories. And so, the customer is thinking, oh, people are searching for filter bags because that's what we're calling it. When really what we learned is that there were so many people looking for these filter bags, but they were calling them filter socks because they look like big, huge, long socks. Right. And so we realized that, yes, there were people searching for filter bags, obviously, but there was also this huge opportunity to optimize for filter socks because that was the term that their customers were using to look for this product.
Yeah, I love that. And so, notice how boring my background, Chris, you've noticed how boring I should get like a picture. Like Nicole has these beautiful pictures, probably of her family. But if I go to Home Depot, if I go to Lowe's, am I looking for a drill? My problem is I need a 1/4 inch hole. My solution is going into the hardware store to buy the drill. So we want to put our mind. So Chris, I teed it up right here for you. Pop quiz. And if you guys want to drop it in the chat box, does anybody know, who's a coffee drinker out there? Can I see a show of hands? Everybody's on any coffee drinkers out there. Chris, have you ever, that piece of cardboard, have you ever had a piece of cardboard around a coffee cup?
Oh yeah.
Daily, right? If you're going through Tim Hortons, if you're going through somewhere or Dunkin' Donuts, whatever your Starbucks, whatever your coffee supply of the day is, you've touched that little cardboard coffee thing. Does anybody out there know the name of the little piece of cardboard that goes over a coffee cup? Man, Chris, if we would have thought of that idea, we'd be gazillionaires by now. So anybody know the name of that product that goes around a coffee cup? Chris, what's the name?
Zarf.
It's called a Zarf. Okay. So it's called a Zarf. So internally, maybe we can call it the coffee sleeve. The gentleman that discovered it back in 1991, he called the Java jacket. Maybe we call it the cardboard thingy. Nicole, what is our soulmate thinking? Are they thinking Zarf coffee sleeve, or what are they thinking?
Yeah, I'm sure they don't know. I didn't know what a Zarf was. So I can't, I mean, who knows what a Zarf is? So of course they're just I'm cardboard thingy. That's what they're going to be typing in, right? So you want to be right there and make sure you're optimizing for that.
Oh, Chris, let's talk on your end. So we've gone through, okay, like you're thinking forging, right? Now the engineer, the buyer, boy, they might be thinking, you make amazing, incredible products. They might be thinking, hey, I need a tie rod. I need a torque rod. But talk a little bit, what was there any aha moments, or what was your thought process as we went through this?
Yeah, absolutely. We started out doing exactly what you were talking about. We started developing that keyword list and realized through our conversations, through our journey, that our terminology and our lingo that we use within our facility might not be what the customers are searching for. They're searching for it more based on the part name that they might call it. So it made us really take a step back and rethink that keyword strategy and what the words might be that our customers are searching for, which in turn drives the way we're going to communicate with them.
Exactly. So guys, as you go through your keyword strategy, we want to be thinking about your core processes, your core strengths, what you're absolutely best at. However, what was step number one, Nicole? Know your soulmate. You need to speak the right language to the soulmate. So, all right, guys. So that's going through that keyword process. We geek out on this, don't we? We geek out hard on keyword strategy. Nicole, what's our favorite tool to help folks with their keyword strategies?
Google Keyword Planner. It's free. It's completely free. And Curt is the king of Scrappy. So
that's her polite way of saying I'm really cheap. So I love not spending people's money. Yeah. So Google Keyword Planner, boy, again, if you're jotting down notes, if you're looking for a great tool to figure out your core keywords. And Chris, we had a great time, boy. We really geeked out hard on this, going through different strategies, different processes. And again, our favorite word, it is free. So Nicole, let's take a look at this. I always love, we have young daughters and I always love using this example, but you were talking about, let's talk about that niching down. Okay. Like if you're a CNC shop out there, you're a metal fabricator, very broad terms. Okay. Walk through the example on if we're going to look at shoes.
Yeah. So if you were to just type shoes into the search bar, you're going to come up with billions and billions of search results, which means that your store, if that's what you're competing against, and you're trying to compete against all of those other search results, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to rank on the first page of Google. And that's really the goal, right? We want to get you on the first page so you get some visibility so people see you, because fewer and fewer people are making it past page 1. So the more that you niche down your keywords and really, like in this example here, move through this process, what happens is you're competing against fewer and fewer search results, which is going to make it easier for you to get on that first page. And it's going to also help you connect much better with the right soulmate who needs exactly what it is that you're selling. So you're going to get much more specific results that way.
That's exactly right. And again, if I mentioned before, we're going to stick around at the end. I have everybody's website pulled up. I have a bunch of notes on your websites. There's a lot of great opportunities to focus on niching down on those keywords. So our example here is hey, if we target shoes, let's get a little bit more specific. How about running shoes? Still way, way, way too broad. It's going to be too tough to come up on Google. Think about pink running shoes. How about pink Nike running shoes or pink running shoes with purple shoelaces? So the RIC, that ridiculously important keyword, are your running shoes. Maybe they're even the pink running shoes. So maybe you do, we have a lot of great companies, Aqua Blast, Steel City, Vista, Dual Machine, Arrow, all you guys are just absolutely crushing it. So think about your RIC, but tied on with that potential. Hey, did you get my pun right there? Tied on with the shoelace, you get that? I couldn't help it, Nicole, sorry. All right, let's talk about, all right, Google Keyword Planner. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but part of our process, we take a deep dive into Google Keyword Planner. As Nicole said, it's free. The great thing about Google Keyword Planner, I wish they'd get a little bit more specific, but it tells me the volume of search on that keyword. So that helps me, instead of us sitting around like, hey, I think people are searching this keyword. Google will tell us. It's a broad range, but it's going to tell us. And again, as manufacturers, you're like, well, gee, there's only like 10 or 15, 20 people a month looking for my particular keyword. Man, that's 200 to 250 people a year. And Chris, in manufacturing, dude, if you land like one major account, could that be a game changer or what?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So
I've seen it happen time and time again.
Time and time again. So again, we hit that hard. So let's move forward. I want to talk about Google Business Profile. Maybe some of you guys know it as the artist formerly known as Google My Business. And that, once again, Nicole, what's our favorite word?
Free. We love free.
Absolutely free. But look at this chunk of real estate over here to the right. So if Chris's soulmate is like, hey, you know, I heard about this Edgerton Forge. What's going on with them? They do this Google search. Look at this big, meaty chunk of real estate. Again, if you're taking notes at home, another great takeaway, Google Business Profile. It's completely free and it's a big chunk of real estate and it's the almighty Google. So if you're looking for another free tool, a great way to help you get that step above the competition. So for myself, like I post on Google Business Profile 3-4 days a week. We are constantly posting and it is a powerful, powerful tool. Nicole, let's talk about backlinks here. I don't want to take a super deep dive because I know like that might be like SEO 202. That might be a step above, but boy, those backlinks are super important. Explain to everybody what is a backlink and why is that important for their SEO strategies?
A backlink is basically getting your website listed on someone else's website. So if someone else has your link on their website and it's giving more people exposure to your website. So it's like if I'm in the neighborhood and I'm going for a walk and I just happen to meet someone down the road, a good friend of mine who I really like hanging out with. And I say, you know, I really am looking for a really good meal. I really want to have something really good on the grill. Do you know anyone in the neighborhood who might be really good at that? And they say, oh yeah, Curt, his wife down the road. She's really awesome. She's a really great cook.
She's a good cook.
So that's what it's like on the web, right? So this is basically like making a referral source for you and your brand by partnering with other companies. And, you know, the more popular, right? The more popular that friend is, the more that they can put you in touch with other people, right? So, you know, if you can get your website linked out on a really popular brand, which we call a high domain authority website, that's going to help increase your exposure.
Chris, let's have you chime in. So again, you know, backlinks was probably a completely foreign term to you a few months ago. What's your perspective, or like, how do you perceive backlinks now for a strategy for SEO strategy at Edgerton?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I knew absolutely nothing about it. No idea what you were talking about. You did a great job working us through it. Yeah, it's, you know, this is one key piece to everything we're trying to do. The more links we get on high profile websites, the more traffic we're going to get, the more opportunities for someone to run across us. You know, so we're not the best kept secret, right?
Perfect. So guys, all right. So if you're out there like, all right, guys, I hear you. I hear this word. What on earth are you guys talking about? Okay. So let me go back once. Let me go back one slide if I can. Let's go back here. Okay. This is my LinkedIn profile. Sorry for that poor mugshot, but you take a look, see this little link, that little hyperlink. All that is on LinkedIn. It is a link going to my website. That's all that is. Okay. So when you're like, dude, what is a backlink? It's not scientific. It's not high tech. It's just a link. So if you're manufacturing, you're like, man, why should I be on social? I'll tell you, social is critical. It is critical. I'm sorry to say that. You don't have to be everywhere and everything, but it is absolutely critical, especially from that backlink standpoint. Okay. So now Chris mentioned the word domain authority. And Nicole mentioned it as well. Basically, it's kind of a popularity contest, if you will, according to Google, Google gives you a score. We're offering through the Purdue MEP, we have a complimentary website audit for everybody. Chris, that's how you and I met. You came in for a complimentary audit, no strings, totally free. And what we do is we get, and as a matter of fact, I think I have a couple audits from folks that have been here at previous webinars. And what we do is we start with your domain authority. Now, I invite you to take a look at this middle column right here. Okay, see where that arrow is? Nicole, just kind of rattle off this list. Like what 98, what does that mean for LinkedIn, 96 for Facebook? What are some of these numbers? What does this represent right here?
The closer that your number is to 100, the higher your domain authority, the more reputable your site is, the more Google gives it legitimacy and credibility. So like, look at LinkedIn. I mean, this is hugely high domain authority. If you can get your website linked on LinkedIn, so just by having a profile page, business page there, you're getting great backlink juice from that. So the higher your score closer to 100, the better your domain authority.
Correct. Now, with that being said, I just, I want to, folks get an audit and they end up with like a 15. It's common. Manufacturers are typically in that 15, 20. Boy, if you're in the mid 20s, you're doing phenomenal. Okay. So as a manufacturer, your website's probably not the biggest priority. We can't compare ourselves to a LinkedIn or Facebook or other major, household name platforms. But the goal is the more that you can increase that domain authority in with and combine it against your RICs, those ridiculously important keywords, that's how we're going to help you get those higher rankings. Okay. Now you might be, okay, I'm starting to understand it a little bit. Let's take it one step further. Anybody out here familiar with YouTube? Of course, we're familiar with YouTube. We love YouTube because why, Nicole? Who owns YouTube, by the way?
Google
Google owns.
They're taking over the world, Curt. They're taking over the world.
Well, hey, we love Google. Google, if you're listening, we love you, right? So, all right. So this is a YouTube. I cut out the video, but this is the description in the video. Now, what at the tail end, we're going to go through a process that we're working on with Chris here. What we're doing is we're shooting a video. Nicole, I'm 53. I have no hair, and like I'm doing video constantly. So if I can do it, anybody on this call can do it. I'm doing videos nonstop. So I don't know if my wife appreciates that or not. I'm just teasing. But when you see these links right here, these links are linking back to product pages of this particular manufacturer. So we're going to go through a quick case study in a few minutes, but this company, they do all sorts of videos. They're putting links of their product pages on their videos. If you guys are doing YouTube videos, I strongly encourage you, get a nice, healthy description in that video, have your keywords in that description, and then have links coming back to your website. Nicole, let's jump into blogging. Why is blogging so important? I'm like, man, I'm a manufacturer. I have to blog. Are you kidding? Why is blogging so important for manufacturers?
Blogging is so important because it's going to help you rank higher in SEO the more consistently that you do it. So this example here is from one of my clients. What we did when we first started back in 2019, they weren't doing any blogging whatsoever. So there was no new content being created whatsoever. We just had a standard website with a static number of pages. And we said, you know what? We are going to identify who our soulmate is and what are their top questions that they're asking our sales team over and over and over again. And so we're going to really try to make that process as efficient as possible and create some content on the website that answers those questions. So that hopefully they'll get those questions answered in a much easier way. So we just got on a cadence of twice a month blogging, just twice a month. It wasn't like we were blogging 3-4 times a month, twice a month. And these are the results that we saw just from consistently blogging, was getting huge increase in search traffic from putting out that content regularly.
Okay, this is phenomenal. So let's recap this again, man. We all love this be, our stock portfolio 401k. Look at that graph there. But this, here's a manufacturer that started absolutely at zero, raised their hand and said, okay, this whole digital marketing thing, we're going to make a commitment. We talked earlier about how important that consistency is. And look at this graph, look at this traffic. And Nicole, most importantly, how about sales? How about new leads? What does that look like?
It absolutely correlated. So we saw quadruple the number of leads coming in and almost 3 times the number of new opportunities created, all related to just being able to create this content marketing engine where we were regularly putting out fresh content that was answering and helping our customers' problems.
Perfect. So here's one of your RICs. It's a word bag house. You were talking about that earlier. And here you're number 2 on Google. And on this next screen, you've got dust collector filter bags. You guys have the number 1 top position. And then here's a great, I love what you did here. And this goes back into what Chris was talking about with the Zarf situation. Is somebody Googling Zarf, or are they Googling, I don't want to burn my fingers today? Are they Googling dust collector filter bags, or are they Googling how much does a dust collector cost? Can you share a little bit about that process?
Exactly. So here we were trying to put ourselves in the mind of the buyer. And the question that the sales team was saying that they were being asked over and over again is, how much is this system going to cost me? So we decided we were going to create a guide all about the factors that go into the cost of this product. And we provided price ranges. So we didn't give specific prices in this case. We just provided general ranges for the different sizes, and then went into each of the variables and created this really nice long, what we call a pillar page, which is a very in-depth article that goes into all of those factors. And it's just been hugely successful in getting traffic to the website.
Perfect. So with that, let's segue right into this. So as folks are, again, so we're using a couple, we're going to go through a couple more case studies here real quick, but we just want you thinking about, man, there's a lot of great companies on the call today, but think about your products, your services, your processes, even if you're a custom manufacturer out there. And Chris, we were just talking about this last week. You, I guess by definition, as a forging company, you are a custom manufacturer. So though you don't have proprietary products, boy, you have great proprietary processes. In those processes, those proprietary processes, that's your superpower. That's how you help crush it with your clients. Just share a little bit about how are you approaching moving forward your marketing strategies now that you have these tools, this process to go forward.
Sure. So with all of this, what we're trying to do is like you've said before, we're trying to develop a way that we can educate our potential buyers on what it is that we do, what a forging is, how the forging's made, how our specific process works, how our process differs from other potential processes, what the advantages are, the things that we can do that set us apart, that can help that buyer or that person looking for a forging really take care of their problem.
Right. And look at how many, man, I don't like that. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Who thought that one up? Let's say somebody told me you're better. How can you hit a couple home runs with the same bat? I think that sounds a little bit better, Chris, right? But just think, and Nicole, what I'd love to have you do is chime in a little bit. Look how efficient you can be by creating this content. You're like, oh man, I'm so busy. How do I create this content? But when you create that content, from a customer, look, Chris, look how customer service is going to love you, because now when somebody raises their hand and says, hey, dude, what is Upset Forging? Hey, guess what? Not only do I have a video, I have a killer pillar blog for you. I have all sorts of information. Chris did it once. He doesn't have to keep repeating it. He's earning that trust quicker, faster, easier. Most important, that is, now he's put himself in a position to be found on Google, which now he can stop being the best kept secret. Nicole, please share a little bit about questions that we've talked about, like those questions. Hey, I don't want to burn my fingers, but talk about like the guides, resource tools, checklists, comparisons. Talk about that.
These are all examples of types of content that you can create that really, like to Curt's point, help you scale your sales team, right? Allow you to be able to do more, much more efficiently. So, we've talked about identifying questions that they ask and creating content on that, like a frequently asked questions. You can do how-to guides on how to install your product, how to maintain your product, how do I, a number of things around creating guides that you can use. A checklist, a maintenance checklist, for example, can be a really great resource that would help your customers with their long-term maintenance, for example. And then comparison is huge. Being able to compare your brand and your product to your competitors and creating an in-depth guide that really shows how you're different than them is a great way to just build trust and build transparency with your prospects, because let's be honest, they're already researching your competitors. So why not make it easy and help them out and just make it really straightforward for them by just bringing it forward and talking about it.
That is awesome. Now I see, now Justin, it might not be your speakers. I have a horrible, horrible accent. You know, Nicole, my accent is just terrible. So it might not be your speakers, maybe. So I don't know if you saw that note. He's asking if, so if I get a little shaky, just let me know. Chris, this slide is for you, my friend, right? So we're going to slide into another little case study. And so this buyer persona, this soulmate, is Engineering Elsa. Engineering Elsa, we're going to talk about my friends at Falconer Electronics. They're a custom manufacturer here in New York, and their ideal buyer, we created a soulmate called Engineering Elsa. Now, all right, I don't know if everybody knew this, Gene. I don't know if you guys, everybody take yourself off of mute because we're going to do a little karaoke right now. So Chris, or let's see, there it is. I brought the words for you guys. We're going to sing Let It Go. You ready? On 3. Ready, Chris?
Sure.
Just kidding, guys. We're not going to sing Let It Go. And everybody would hang up the call. Gene's going to do Let It Go at the end of the call. So stick around for that, Gene. Thank you for that. So Engineering Elsa.
I'm not going to give them nightmares.
Gene, you're so modest. Gene has a great voice, handsome dude, great voice. Hey, by the way, Gene, let's give a round of applause. Gene served our country proudly in the Navy. Any of our veterans on the call today, let's give a round of applause. Thank you for your service, Gene. Thank you for your service. Anybody else out there, any other veterans, drop that in the chat box. Let us know. But God bless you. Thank you for serving our country. And again, guys, if you're just coming in, if you're not engaged and connected with the Purdue MEP, Gene is your guy. Whitney, your husband's an Army veteran. Thank you, Whitney. Tell your husband we send our blessings to him. All right, let's talk about Engineering Elsa. Engineering Elsa works at, let's say, Boeing, maybe SpaceX, could be Ford, and she is super busy, Nicole. She came into work today, and a supervisor, somebody in the food chain said, hey, Engineering Elsa, you have 30 things that you need to find and put on this drawing today. Ready, go. And Engineering Elsa is thinking, my goodness, I am busy. I am slammed. I'm trying to get my kid to a soccer game this afternoon. How am I going to do all this? So let's take a look. Engineering Elsa finds this web page. Let's see what Engineering Elsa sees. She's looking for a goofy product called Groundstrap. That's our Rick, and I'm going to show you how we're capturing first page, not only first page, #1 rankings on Google with this little goofy product called Groundstrap. A groundstrap is a ubiquitous item. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. She lands on this webpage, Nicole, and it says, receive an instant groundstrap. Build your own, no RFQ wait time. It takes 60 seconds or less. Are you kidding me? How many of us have had to wait days, hours, weeks for an RFQ? We're telling Engineering Elsa, we have your back. We know you're busy. We know you have 29 other things to buy today, and we know you have a soccer game to get to. Let's go through this little process and we'll get you on your way. Get a quote fast. Here is a video. So Nicole, let's talk about what is this position, this #1 top position. What's this called right here on Google?
That is the featured snippet. This is like the golden nugget. This is absolutely like the top tier place that you want to be able to get. To get this is like awesome. It's every marketer's dream to get a featured snippet. Every time I get one, I do a little happy dance.
You probably take your husband out for dinner, right? Probably more than that, right? Because those Google snippets, man, they look at this piece of real estate right here, guys.
Yeah.
So again, what we found with Chris, when Chris niched down, and when we did Made in USA upset forging, because we niched down, now you could come back and say, all right, tough guy, Curt, how many people are actually Googling Made in USA upset forging? But the thing is, if you're in the Department of Defense, or you're tired of supply chain challenges, you're tired of buying things from overseas, and you want to buy in the United States, that would be a good keyword or a good key phrase, Made in USA upset forging. We want to make Engineering Elsa's life as easy as possible. Be in that top position. Don't let your competition beat you to the game, because you're better than your competition. And if we're not coming up on search, now you forced Engineering Elsa to go to somebody else. Same type of thing. We've had a dramatic increase in traffic, but let's keep this party rolling, Nicole. Here's a couple examples. Does this work? Man, this was super exciting. You talk about the happy dance. See that arrow right there? Man, we got an RFQ from SpaceX. That was a sexy one. That was really cool. You take a look at this one here. Man, Ford knocked on our door and said, hey, we need 90 to 100,000 units. Yes, we will take that, because again, if Engineering Elsa is at SpaceX or at Ford, boy, I don't want her coming up on a different, I don't want her finding somebody else on search. We don't want your competitors coming up on search as well. Let's take a look, Nicole. Now, creating those product pages. Maybe many of you are on WordPress. If you're on WordPress, if you're taking notes, again, a great tool is SEO Yoast. I know, Chris, your company, Edgerton Forge, you guys are on WordPress. We're talking, you have another plugin tool that you're using. It's called All-in-One. Nicole, how important is it having that SEO tool on a website to make your life easier? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, SEO Yoast makes it super simple because it basically gives you guidelines on what you need to do on your web page to make sure that it's making Google happy, right? You want to make Google happy. You want to make sure your page is structured properly, that you have the right tags. And so Yoast makes it really easy. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do on that page. And when you've done it, it tells you if you've done it right. So you get very clear feedback right away to help you help those people out there who just don't really know SEO really well. It's like a really handy tool.
Absolutely. So guys, if you're doing it internally, just you can Google SEO Yoast and you're like, what are you saying? It's Y-O-A-S-T, SEO Yoast. Check that out. That's a great tool. If you have an external web designer, I think there's a marketing firm. I think, was it Treehouse? I think Maddie, I think you're from a marketing firm. Check with your local marketing firm. It's a great tool to take advantage of. Now, what I want to do, I want to break down this product page here. There's a number of you that are OEMs. I saw when I was kind of not stalking. I was checking you guys out this morning. Just kidding, Nicole. But what I want you to think about when you know your customer, know that soulmate. If it's a buyer, maybe they're not geeking out like in that real engineering speak. Chris, we've talked about that a lot. So on this page, what we've done, we've loaded up this page with our RIC ground straps. Again, you fill in the blank of your product, your service, what you're best at. Our core keyword, our RIC is ground straps. We've loaded this page, but on this page, I'm speaking to a buyer. We want to keep it kind of light, easy. Somebody just said, hey, go buy some ground straps. Okay. On this next page, now we're going to get a little geekier and now we're going to talk about those specs. Okay. So now we're getting more engineering speak. So Chris, you mentioned that you have two different buyers. How are you guys approaching this on different language to that different buyer?
Yeah, exactly. One, we're trying to really focus on our keywords so that the searches come up, but then like you've shown here later on down in, we get a little more specific with some of the generalized engineering specs. A little bit different with what we're doing since we can do some customization. It's more about generalizing the sizes and lengths that we can work with versus what you're showing here. But similar type of idea. You start out talking with your keywords to get them there, and then later on you start talking about more of the detail that really sends it home with them.
Absolutely. Now, what we've also done is added video. Nicole, you are super bullish, huge on video with your clients. Talk about how important that video is.
Video is huge because more and more buyers want to be able to learn about your brand and your products through video. It's becoming more and more common, especially with the younger generations as well. So you want to make sure that you're delivering the information to your customers in a variety of ways so you're meeting them where they are and how they want to consume information. It all goes back to knowing your soulmate. All this just goes back to knowing really deeply what their preferences are, interests, pain points, so that you can really get really close to them.
KYS, HYS, right? Know your soulmate, help your soulmate. Boy, if you just can resonate with those two things, and then we get into like the more tactical stuff, but if you commit to those two things, makes your life from a marketing standpoint so much easier. And right here, what we've done is we have the drawing, the spec sheet right in here. And again, now, if you guys have PDFs on your website, Nicole, we have a nice project that we're working on with a manufacturer in Queens, New York, of all places. And what's fantastic is like we're trying to convert some PDFs into other more content-driven pages. So if you have PDFs on your website, that's not the best for search for Google. It's a great opportunity to take those PDFs and convert them into web pages. We're going to wind down this portion on this, but just take a look at this. All these arrows represent the real estate that this company has on their core keyword. Our goal is we want to dominate search. And every single one of these arrows represents either a position on Amazon, Walmart, or their own two positions of their own website. And that's their number one seller right there, is that 8-inch ground strap. So again, our goal is for you is the same type of result. We want you coming up front and center, front of mind on those grounds, on your particular product. Okay. Man, we're gonna take it home. Is this time just flying by or what? My goodness gracious, man! Are you having half as much fun as I am? Man, this is fun. Okay, Nicole.
Curt.
Hey, Nicole. There's this.
Hey,
Look
Curt.
at Nicole's background, man. I'm kind of jealous. Chris, look how professional that looks. She looks so nice back there. Look very nice today, Nicole. Nicole, what is the hub and spoke strategy? You've just enlightened so many people with this. What is a hub and spoke?
Yes. So we've talked a lot about how important it is for you to be creating content regularly. Because the secret to great marketing, I'm going to tell you, is consistency. It's consistency. There's no one and done approach to this. You can't just go in and spend a couple hours on your website and all of a sudden magic's going to happen. I wish, but then I'd be out of a job. So the secret to marketing, good marketing, is consistency. So what you want to do is, we've talked about creating those really great topic ideas of questions your customers are asking, comparison, guides, all of those topics. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your ridiculously important keyword, that top keyword that you want to rank for, whether it's running shoes, pink running shoes, or dust collector filter bags. And what you're going to do is you're going to create your own learning center. Okay, all about that RIC. So this is what we call a hub and spoke. The main topic in the center is your pillar content. So this would be, in the case of the dust collector filter bags, that would be the main topic that you're going to create an article about. And then around that hub, you have different spoke articles, all related to that you're going to be writing, all related back to dust collector filter bags. And we have a great example that Chris, and we worked with Chris on at Edgerton Forge, that we want to show you. That's just, this is like real life one that Edgerton Forge, we worked closely together on for them to come up with their own hub and spoke model that we're now in the process of building out and creating for them. So
Absolutely, man. Well done. I was thinking I had a slide for you on that dust collector, but Chris, if you don't mind, let's slide right into you. Made in America forgings. Let's talk about when you went through this hub and spoke process. Talk about everybody, how you took your RIC, and just share what you did here.
Sure. So you start out with the main topic, which is the RIC, Made in America forgings, and then you start to think about little details that go behind that. So you can see some of the things that we came up with. For example, Made in America forgings, right size your order. If you're buying from somebody in the States, you don't have to buy a massive quantity and have it shipped across the ocean. You can order based on the size of volume that you need. Same thing with simplify your communications. So basically we did, as you explained, we tried to come up with different subtopics to support that Made in America forgings. And each one of those gives us an opportunity to have a blog post and talk about it.
Yeah. So, and as a matter of fact, we're going to show an example. So now what we've done is, man, this is a great process, Nicole. Let's walk through this. So again, just to kind of recap, you take your main topic, you take your RIC. Okay. So Reagan, Scott, David, everybody out there, Lisa, take some of your core products and then think about what are some of the questions, what are some of the challenges that your soulmate might be thinking, asking around that particular topic. Okay. Nicole, let's just talk about some different content ideas for everybody on this slide right here.
yeah, exactly. So we talked about what questions are your customers asking? What are the benefits of your product over your competition? Again, going back to a comparison, what is your product and service? Explain it. Explain what goes into it. A lot of people may not fully understand what it is, so they don't know the value. How does it work? How do I maintain it? How do I assemble it? How do I, do all the things I need to do once I purchase it? And then pricing is huge. Everybody wants to know how much it costs. Let's make that really easy for them and transparent by being very upfront about what goes into the price. So these are just like a good place for you to start if you're starting for the first time, of spokes that you can build all around that main core topic.
Absolutely. And then this is what it looks like is now what Nicole's done is she's created all these web pages. And Nicole, just share, as we're coming into home, just share a little bit of, folks can see these topics over here to the left, and then just share about the actual web link, that slug. If you could just explain that real quick to everybody.
Yeah, so you can see that the URL for each of these, the slug is the section after the second parenthesis after the website domain name. And you want that slug to include a really important keyword. So you'll notice all of the slugs here. These are all really important keywords that we wanted to rank for related to dust collectors. And we organized this this calendar. This is the example that we showed earlier with the blog traffic that increased over time. This was our plan. This was the list of all of the content that we created, and the green article is the pillar main topic that we created and all the content around that. So this is just an example of what this would look like that you could build plan for your own learning centers.
All right, perfect. So you know what? I'm going to jump into this slide right here. And then if we have one more minute, I'm actually, Chris, as a matter of fact, we're kind of revealing a blog post to you. So what we did is we did an interview with Chris and their sales manager last week, and we took a deep dive into one of his RICs. Chris, you want to just kind of describe that process? And then I'm going to go off road for a second, and I'm just going to pull up, if you don't mind, I'm going to share what we've got going on here.
Sure. So yeah, you basically, we set up a meeting. You interviewed us based on some questions that we came up with to try to answer some of those questions that our customers might have, better ways for us to explain our process, our products, and just did a Q&A on Zoom, just like we're doing now. I think you had Otter AI running in the background to transcribe it for us because we're all lazy. And you like free stuff, and it was, you know, the first time you do it, it's a little I'm sure
Clunky.
tough.
Dude, you're being modest. I thought you absolutely crushed it. You were,
as we do more, it's going to get better, and I think, you know, what you've done now is probably broke that down into different segments, and going to have some posts coming out on a planned schedule.
yeah.
And the great thing is it's just such a, from your team's perspective, Chris, it's not a big, huge investment, right? To just come and talk once,
Right.
And now we can create all of this content from one interview session. Now we have a process where, like, you know, once a month we schedule it, we transcribe it, and now we've got regular content that we can publish for you.
So what Chris is describing, guys, is, man, this is a phenomenal tool. And we goof around. We're like, you know, hey, let's be lazy. And it's a running joke of like, hey, you know, why work harder? Let's work smarter. So this is a manufacturer over in Illinois. We're interviewing them. And what we've done is, you check this out. As we interviewed them, we have the full transcription here of everything they were discussing. So right here, when I say like, hey, tell me about your company, the president of the company is like, well, hey, Curt, our father started this company in 1986, da, 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 da. Now, what the marketer, my dear friend Marsha right here, what she's going to do, this wonderful young woman right here, she's going to copy and paste this because we're being efficient. She's going to copy and paste this, and now that creates an about section. Then what we did is we specifically started asking questions about their RICs, a bunch of their products. And so down here, way below, and look at all this juicy content, Nicole. Is this phenomenal or what, right? So when we get down here, the president and CEO, they're talking about what their products are, how passionate they are, how great they are. And now their marketer can just go through this whole transcription, and now she can start creating content. It's a copy and paste. We're just being a lot more efficient with our time. So the tool is called Otter, just like the animal. As a matter of fact, Nicole, I have a blog post going out tomorrow. If you guys are on my blog, you'll see a little blog post about how great Otter.ai. Nicole, what's it cost to get Otter?
It's free, Curt.
It's completely free. So let's do this. We're coming into time, and man, we got like 30 seconds left. I want to be mindful and respectful of everybody's time. If you guys want to stick around, I'd be happy. I'd be honored. Nicole, we would be pleased to answer any questions that you have whatsoever. Two takeaways. Know your soulmate, KYS, HYS, help your soulmate. That's our SEO tip of the day. You guys, you have access to a complimentary website audit. Feel free to reach out to anybody here at the Purdue MEP. You can reach out to Nicole, reach out to myself. And as Gene kicked off the program, they are offering this incredible, wonderful grant program that are helping manufacturers in the great state of Indiana with digital marketing. That's the work that we've been doing here with Chris. Chris, what are your thoughts about the Purdue MEP? Are they just amazing peeps or what?
It's been fantastic. It really has. We got in touch through our corporate office and about a particular topic, not this one, but another topic that we needed some assistance with. And quite honestly, I think we kicked off 5 different projects with the Purdue MEP, this being one of them. And it's been great, really helping us, I believe, set ourselves up for the long game to really help us out, not just now, but in the future with digital marketing and other skill sets that we needed.
Well, Chris, thank you, man. It's been such an absolute honor, privilege. We have a blast working together, but boy, we're rolling up our sleeves. And, you know, I goof around a lot, but boy, my passion, my purpose in life is helping manufacturers, helping U.S. manufacturers be more competitive from an e-commerce standpoint. That's exactly what the Purdue MEP is here for. So guys, I'm going to stick around. Actually, this is my Zoom account, so I can stick around, right? Hang out. If you guys have any questions, you see all these windows pulled up, Gene? I have like all these manufacturers. Look at all these great companies that you have here in the great state of Indiana. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, there's Chris and Gordy doing that recording right there. Look at those handsome devils. Gene, anything that you want to close us out with? And again, if anybody has questions, please stick around and feel free to ask. Gene, anything that you want to close us out with on your end?
Thanks, Curt and Nicole, and also thanks to Chris Pearson as well. Great job.
Thank you, sir. So you guys feel free to take yourself off of mute. I would love to tackle. I know we threw a ton at you. We'd be happy to back up a step and address anything specific. Please don't be shy. Any unanswered questions how's that going, Nicole? No questions are bad questions. Is that what it is?
No questions are bad questions.
No
Bring 'em
questions
all
are
on.
bad questions, right? So feel free to ask a question. You can contact myself or Nicole on LinkedIn. Please reach out to Gene or Julie's here from the Purdue MEP. But any questions that you guys have? I threw
Curt, this was great. I gotta go. But
Thanks,
I
Jay.
really loved what you guys were doing. So thank you very much for sharing it with me.
Hey, thanks for being here, Jay. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks,
And
Jay.
Scott,
welcome.
thank you for being
Bye-bye.
here. Diane, Whitney, thank you. Julie, thank you. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate the kind
You could
words.
probably instigate some questions, Curt, if you start singing karaoke. That'll generate some questions.
Hey, let's get back to that Frozen. Chris, are you ready? Let it go. Now, Chris has
I'm ready.
Chris has a funny story about what's your, don't you have a little Frozen thing at the shop there?
No.
I thought you were telling Gordy like, hey, if you guys don't do this, we're gonna start singing "Let It Go" to you guys, or what was? Remember that one day?
Yeah. Yep, that was fun.
So
Okay, Curt. So Curt, here's a question for you and Chris. Since let's see, we went from 30 on the presentation down to 7. There's less risk of me embarrassing anyone by asking this question. So, Chris, have you and Gordy seen a bump up in leads thus already with the work with Curt and Nicole?
We've had a little bit, yes. You know, every day is bringing something different to us. I believe we've seen some increase in traffic. You know, traditionally, before we started this project, no joke, like Curt says, we were the best kept secret. You know, you did a Google search, we were on page 5 of our primary thing that we do. Nobody could find us. We were getting a lot of leads, new jobs inquiries sent to us by other forging companies that didn't specialize in the type of work that we do, and they were steering customers to us. So now, you know, with what we've been doing, we're seeing a change in that. People are finding us on their own. I can't say that it's been a huge amount of traffic, but I think we're still really early in the project. Curt's been doing a great job. We've been a little bit challenged for some time here, so I think we've got a clear path and a good plan and strategy moving forward. And really, for me, it's about, like I said earlier, it's about the long game. I didn't really get into this expecting to have an immediate impact. This is more setting us up for long-term goals, because I believe that as we've learned, and like Nicole and Curt are saying, more and more people are doing all this research and online. They're not calling, they're not emailing, they're trying to figure everything out before they get a hold of you.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the right approach, Chris, is it absolutely is a long game, right? And I think that you have to think about marketing in that kind of mindset versus sales, which is more of like an immediate kind of impact. So
Yep.
you're thinking about it right, you're approaching it right.
For example, you've got my LinkedIn page up there. Before we started this project with Curt, I hadn't touched that in 9 years. And I thought LinkedIn was used for professional job searching. And that was the last time I had touched it. Boy, did I learn a lot of stuff about LinkedIn through this process. And now we're using that as a tool. And I went from 2 connections. I think I'm only up to about 59 or 60 at the moment, but just in a couple of months, that's a lot. And, you know, we're having some communication on there, maybe finding some companies and they're finding us, and we're sharing information, doing some quote activity back and forth where maybe they can help us as a supplier, and maybe down the road, if they get an inquiry in, they're going to send it our way so that we can collaborate with each other. So I really think it's about building relationships and that long game.
So just to chime in real quick, what was awesome, and I tried connecting with a lot of folks on LinkedIn. And I know it's common with manufacturers that, you know, not super heavy on LinkedIn, but I encourage you, welcome you guys to take advantage of that. And what Chris has done, the entire team, when you go to their LinkedIn, they're using this banner to create that consistency. And Chris, you started posting, and so you're doing a great job there. I want to digress. I want to change gears for 1 second. So Reagan, is this your Dexter, right?
Yep, that's it.
Perfect. Okay. Hey, guy, and again, we thank everybody. Thank you guys. I know how busy everyone is. So thank you for joining us. And we still have 18 people on here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We know how precious your time is. And I know you need to get running here, Reagan. So let's take a look. Nicole, let's take a look. Hey, Chris Harrington's joining us now. Let's take a look at your website. And Reagan, sir, what are any challenges that you're facing or frustrations, or give us a little background and we'll give you some quick feedback here.
Not really anything major. We just did a complete, recently they did a complete website overhaul. So if you hover over our resources tab and you see, I don't know if it's going, you might say got it. Oh, there. Okay, you see the second option of learning library?
Right there, yep.
So we just launched this. So I'm actually everything that you talked about, I'm very familiar with. This is like brand new. We just launched this. I have a whole, I've started 10 plus articles that has to go through approval process before we're able to publicize them, just because we're highly engineered products, right? We're axles, hubs, brakes, everything. So I don't know. I was just kind of curious if you guys had any just off the tough sort of, so to speak, feedback or just interest or anything, because we actually are starting to build the learning library. I actually came up with the name, which is interesting that you guys kind of called it similar things, but yeah. And so we have a lot of different things in there, and we do have quite a few PDFs, I guess, but it's a lot of instruction sheets and stuff that just wouldn't be, I don't think, as beneficial to have as a page. We're kind of taking items from instruction sheets and making them kind of what you guys are saying, articles, if you will. But yeah.
Perfect. So Nicole, I know that's music to your ears, the learning library. Nicole, as you said, Reagan, she calls it the learning center. Edgerton Forges, they're creating a forging learning center. So that's phenomenal. So right off the bat, I love the new website. Kudos to you. You're doing a phenomenal job. Kudos to you that you're launching the library. My immediate thought, so I'm an e-commerce guy looking at this, I'm like, this is fantastic. I love what you've done is you've separated out the products. So, you have a trademark product right there. I'm assuming that Torflex, medium duty. So maybe your Rick is the rubber torsion suspension axles. Do I have that correct? I didn't say it easily, but that's, so what you want to do is so see up here, Nicole was talking about that slug. So like right off the bat, depending on what the keyword is, if it's just torsion suspension or torsion axles, then that's phenomenal because you have those two keywords right here. If you wanted more, then you might want to consider, what would the slug look like, or create another page with that slug. Or you could, now with that, are you on WordPress?
No.
What are you on?
It's actually, we are like highly, because we're global. So we're in Europe and all over the,
Okay. Yep.
we are like highly, like have high, because we acquire quite a few companies. So every time we acquire a company, we have like a very mass security system type thing.
Yep.
So we're just on, we use like a company and
A different
external
system.
marketing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got you. But and Nicole, I'll have you chime in next. So what I love how you've put out the bullet points. It looks content rich. Again, just like down the road, what I would love to see are like maybe more pictures. Google loves those pictures, tagging those images with your keywords. And then as Nicole preaches video, I would love a video on that page with that product. Nicole,
we do have,
agree.
if you look to the right, do you see like the small video? And
there it is right there. Yeah.
We probably just need to embed it on that page, because we do embed videos all over. Like, so if you go, we have like
Yep.
So that's a good point. I don't know. Anyway.
Yep. I would consider embedding it in here. And again, think about your searchers, especially as buyers are getting younger, per chance, if they happen to be on their mobile or if they're on a device, they're sliding down. Right. So on mobile, that might be hidden. I'm curious where these links would be on mobile.
Those go down to the bottom. They're just like
on mobile,
like chunks. Yep.
Yeah, I think as you're saying, like embedding that video like right here or somewhere. And again, from an SEO standpoint, we didn't get into that, but time on web page, that's one of Google's ranking characteristics. So having that video, and again, like I said, like, front and center, like I whiffed on this, I didn't see it. So make it as easy as possible for your buyer to see it. And then they're going to be on that page much longer watching that video.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. The other thing I would recommend here is to add some internal links to this page to other relevant pages on your site.
Yeah.
So that you're keeping them on the site and engaged. So just like sprinkling in some internal links to other, articles from your learning center, other product pages that are relevant. And then at the bottom of the page, I always like to make sure on every page, there's some sort of very clear, like, next step call to action. Like, what are they going to do next after they've read this page? So maybe it's like creating a module at the bottom that's like related articles related to that product. So if you have articles in your learning center all about these specific elements of this rubber, torsion axle, you could have a module in the bottom that just says learn more and takes them to the learning center where they can learn more about it, or that kind of a thing. So
no, that's good. That's what I kind of was focusing on. So like the resource learning library, if you click on that, I did add like customizable widgets to like kick people out to other pages and things like that, and or buy a product if it's like a transactional search and stuff like that. So no, sounds like we're kind of on the right path. It's just you can only do so much. one step at a time, right? So.
Right? Like Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome was not built in a day.
As a matter of fact, I did as a matter of fact, I don't know if Jody from Edgerton's still here. I just did a little workshop yesterday, and Marcia from Louvers in Chicago, she caught something on my website. She's like, "Hey, Curt, shouldn't you be doing this?" So Reagan, it's a treadmill. It's like, it never ends. So trust me, we could do you're doing a phenomenal job. So these are just, we want to view them not as a critique, opportunities for improvement. But we could pull up anybody's website and we could probably pull up Amazon and find something, right? So
you can pull up mine and find something.
Oh yeah.
No, it's great. I love the feedback. So no harm, no foul. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna go. Sorry, go ahead.
Gonna hop off.
If you have, you can say. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No. So again, just kind of recap. So internal links, the web page, they're always looking for external links. So external links on this page would be great to like any other your social media platforms, maybe an external link to like your company LinkedIn page or your company YouTube page, or you said like your global brand. So maybe links to the other, if there's other websites or whatever, but internal links, external links, images, having that video. And I think, you're crushing it with these pages here.
Yeah, you're absolutely on the right track with the learning library. I love what you're building there. That looks great.
Okay. Sounds good. I had a question, but it's on my mind. But yeah, no, this was great. I appreciate it. It's good to at least know you're on the right track, I guess.
Yeah, you're doing
So,
phenomenal. And
Awesome.
again, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any questions before we wrap up? I want to be mindful of everybody's time, but if I'd love to answer anything. I see Addison, Kelly, Paco, Lisa. If you guys have anything, be happy to address your website. Maddie, any questions that you guys have, be happy to address that.
Hi, this is Kelly. I work with Maddie. I actually have a question.
Hey, Kelly.
So we work with Vista Manufacturing. They're an LED lighting manufacturing company out of Elkhart, Indiana. And we've been working with them for about 1.5 years. We were able to launch a new website last year. So I have 2 questions. One of the things that we are struggling with, their engineers and their sales team is struggling with to provide us information on what their best clients are actually looking for. So in terms of when we ask for things like what kind of how-to guides, is there anything that we can build that will make the industrial engineers or the designers job easier? Are there checklists? Are there questions that are constantly answered? What about videos for things of like how things are installed, like case studies, all of that. So that doesn't seem to be able to be an easy fix for them to be able to do that, because especially for the people that would need to create the case studies, they're extremely busy. So one, I would like to understand, what do you guys do, or how do you go about finding information, knowing that you need to provide specific information, but you don't necessarily have it? So
Hey,
we've
Chris.
created, I was going to say, we've created a couple guides, like an IP rating guide, because a lot of engineers don't understand the whole IP rating between like all the products, and is it waterproof, is it water resistant, all of that. So that worked really well, like a guide to flexi tape lighting, like those types of things. But we're kind of running out of general information. So we are trying to determine if the audience is looking for solutions or if they're looking for specific products.
Nicole, take it away.
I love this question, Kelly. This is awesome. Have they given you access to reach out to their customers directly?
Ish. They have allowed customer surveys, but those are more for what is your experience, as opposed to, hey, tell me what you're searching for. So we've tried to go through the sales team and say, hey, can you send out this specific email with these specific questions to like 5 of your best customers? And that we haven't gotten any response from those.
Have you tried doing like getting access to their entire database and sending like a bulk survey out through like a SurveyMonkey platform, so that you could get like a larger sample size and come up with like a list of very specific questions that you could ask specifically that would help you figure out what content and questions they're having?
So yes, we have access to that. Yes, we've talked about that. Their database doesn't distinguish between if somebody is a purchaser, like a purchasing agent, if they're an engineer, if they're a designer. So it's like kind of like blasting out completely. So we actually don't know who the audience is. So we haven't moved forward with that, knowing that we could ask people to self-identify.
Yeah.
With
That's
that.
what I was thinking. That could be one
Yeah.
of your questions. You could ask them in the survey what their role is, and then you could filter the survey results based on that. But yeah, I feel your pain. I've been in your shoes. Like, it's tough. It is so tough, Kelly, to get these engineers bought in and willing to contribute. My recommendation would be to try to leverage the executive team as much as possible, if you can, to try to get them to try to get the engineers to buy in, and even just the model of trying to schedule like a subject matter expert interview where you just schedule it in advance with those engineers, like a month in advance.
I love all of these things. We have tried to do that. And when we connect with an engineer, their answers are, I don't know. Gosh, I don't know what I would do. I don't know. Like, and we're like, well, I don't know how to answer. I don't know how to ask the question a different way to get the information out of there. So,
Chris, so we twisted Chris's arm a little bit. So Kelly, maybe so maybe a little persuasion, but this is what we found going this direction. So this is Otter. So if anybody's still on here, this is Otter. It's phenomenal. You hit this little record button right here. If I hit that, it's going to start recording our conversation right now. So it's great getting that transcription. And what we found is it starting to record? There it is. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Hi, Nicole. So by getting this transcription, what we've discovered is, boy, when you find the right person, if you can get, even if the engineer is a little bit on the introverted side, and it's great. Most people just love talking about what they do because not many people want to hear it, right? Especially from an engineering standpoint. And I'll close that out. But if you could find somebody on the team and just like get them fired up, get them excited and say, hey, Stacy, Joe, whoever it is, boy, you are that subject matter expert, try to get some questions prepared. And that's what we did with Chris. And I want to be mindful of your time, Chris, because I appreciate you hanging out with us. But, think about some of those core questions that you could ask, use that Otter and just record them. And man, like Chris, what did you think of the process? We just did it last week.
Yeah, it's good. I like I said, I'm a little bit, like you said, uncomfortable. I'm an engineer by trade, so we're a little bit goofy in how we talk and whatever. But just it's really relaxing when you're just asking me questions and I'm just answering your questions, and you can be a little bit more natural. You've got Otter running in the background; it transcribes it. I think you're right. You got to find the right person to talk to. And what we did here was we're really busy too, but I forced us to go ahead and schedule the appointments with Curt and Nicole to force us to sit down and do the work. And it really doesn't take that long. It's an hour of our time that we spend once every couple of weeks. And we're making great progress. So you just got to find the person with the right knowledge and the commitment to sit down for an hour and have a chat.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Curt, were you going to say something?
No, I was gonna. I think I sent you a LinkedIn connection, so I was just going to thank you again for joining us today. But go ahead with your question.
So I think that we're definitely on the right track. When it came to SEO, we were kind of our hands were tied a little bit because the company utilized specific language, and we were I don't want to say forced, but we had to compromise and create the initial SEO content based off of that. But now we're finding 12 months into it that people are literally not searching for the terms that we had to optimize for. So we're redoing some of the terms based on the analytics that we can actually say, hey, literally this is not working and this is why. So we're kind of doing that. So we've kind of moved up like quite a bit instead of saying that they are a lighting solutions partner, which we knew wasn't a great SEO term, to now an LED lighting manufacturer. So we'll be able to do some of those things. But my question to you is, I heard you say something about a grant with Purdue. Is that something that as an agency we can connect with you on and go back and forth with two professional minds trying to figure out how we can do better for this client?
That Gene, are you still with us? And Gene might be on a call.
Yeah.
Yep,
No, I'm still here.
Perfect. So Kelly was asking, she meant we talked about the grant program, IDACAP.
I heard her question.
Yep. Okay. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I mean, if you're in the process of working with an Indiana manufacturer or engineering service provider, Kelly, I'm assuming that your company is a marketing firm as well.
We are, and we're actually located here in downtown Lafayette.
Awesome. So I mean, sure. I mean, our resources would be available to your client as well, but it's a little tricky, right? Because we're partnered up with Curt and Nicole. It's certainly not something that's exclusive, but let's have a side conversation about helping you help your client.
And I didn't know exactly, because I don't know if you talked about that grant. I missed the whole introduction of what it was. I just heard it as a mention. So I didn't know if it was working with like Curt and Nicole for that, and we could utilize as a sounding board to try to figure out how we could do better. So if that's not an opportunity, that's okay as well.
Yeah, just, I mean, it is an opportunity. There's, we have two major grants, right? There's the Department of Defense grant that's focused on companies within the defense industrial base, right? So if the company is the manufacturer or engineering services company is selling within the Department of Defense industrial base at any level, right? It could be a bolt, it could be a bracket. There's this federal money that can help them enhance their capability. There's also Indiana Next Level Jobs. Next Level Jobs. You're familiar with that one?
Yes.
Okay. And then if they have specific needs in the area of cyber, we also have some Indiana PTAC funding.
Okay. Is it something that you can just send me an email? Maybe we can connect through LinkedIn or something. Okay. Perfect.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. I'll go back through the chat and pull down your LinkedIn information.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. And there's tons of business going around. So Kelly, that is phenomenal. And so, this is the partnering with the Purdue MEP, especially with you right in Lafayette, is a great, opportunity. And as you're trying to help, Vista be more competitive, that's a great opportunity for everybody involved. So any other questions there that you had as far as this goes?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We've got Chris Harrington here today. Hey, Chris, my friend, happy Wednesday to you. How are you? Anybody else? Any other questions before? I know we're running over, and Chris Pearson, I want to be respectful of your time, my friend. I know we're running into time here. Any other questions? Anybody else out there that you guys want to ask? I'll stop sharing. Anybody else? Heather, thank you for joining us. Addison, Maddie, anything else? Gene, thank you, dude. This was great. Chris Pearson, man. How about Chris on the stage today? What a great
Chris,
job.
you were awesome. Good job. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So we have the recording, we'll have the transcription, Chris. So anything else that we can get out of that for you, right? We're going to be lazy and get that information to you.
You betcha.
That's right. So, all right. If there's anything else, man, Chris Harrington, how are you? Hey, Chris is a veteran. Gene, this is my friend Chris Harrington. Chris Harrington, Gene Jones from Purdue MEP.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Great to see you. Chris
Yeah.
I
thought I would jump on. I got to listen to quite a bit of it. So thanks for all the great information.
So Chris is a fierce advocate for U.S. manufacturing. She's up the road in Milwaukee. She's a veteran, God bless her. And she's the CEO of Gen Alpha Technologies. She's helping manufacturers with e-commerce. She's a great advocate for manufacturing. So Chris, it's a privilege to have you here today.
Thank you, Curt. Always thank you.
Chris, I love that Einstein picture in the background. I was looking for Norman Schwarzkopf or somebody like that to be, there in the background. I see Nicole's got the star earrings on. She is a star, but now Curt, I want to see you with some star earrings in this next one.
I did my hair for the program today, So.
You did a great job.
Thanks, man.
Nice job, guys. Appreciate it.
Gene, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, everybody still on the call. Guys, reach out to us, reach out to Purdue MEP. And if you need anything, would you mind giving a first impression of Schmidt? Yeah, if whoever needs to wrap up, take off. I've got a couple minutes. I can jump on the Schmidt website. And who's with Schmidt? Is that Heather or Addison? Oh, Addison Schmidt, I guess. Man, call me Dick Tracy, Gene. I figured that one out, didn't I?
Yeah, you're sharp. You're sharp today. It's Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday.
Sharp as a tack, aren't I? All right, let's check out Schmidt. Let's see. You know what? And I'm a little bit smart because I put everybody alphabetically today. How's that? So, all right, Addison, how are you? Is she there, Addison?
Hey, can you hear me now, Curt?
There you are. Yep.
Hey, sorry about that. I couldn't get my mic to work.
No worries. How are you today?
I'm pretty good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So let's tell us a little bit what's going on with Schmidt Metalworks and what's happening in your world.
I'm just a one-man service shop, and I don't really tell anybody or make them aware that it's a one-man shop, because we do offer quite a bit of services as far as welding, fabrication, machining. And so basically, one, what's your input on that? Should I be telling everybody I'm a one-man shop and letting them know that they're dealing with one person, and maybe there's a plus side to that? Or should I continue to try to hide that I'm a small one-man shop, that I offer all these things?
Nicole, I'd love for you to chime in, or anybody else. I guess
My question to you is, what do your customers tell you about it? The customers that you have now, is that something that they value in you? Do they value that you're one? Have you gotten feedback from them saying, man, we love that you're a one-person shop. We love that we work directly with you.
I think it's more of I've got a good name going for quality of welding.
Okay.
So I've got that, going good for me, because they know it's me doing the welding instead of a hired welder.
Mm.
Well, here's my answer. I'm a one-man band, right? I'm a solo, and I don't try to hide it. I don't pretend that I'm not. I just put it right out there. And I guess, being a one-man band, and it's Addison, right? Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you, capacity, are you looking for customers? Are you maxed out? Like, where are you at as far as that goes?
I am maxed out, but I recently so I had our Google ads. I kind of stopped all that for a couple months, and I recently just turned it back on because you mentioned the long game, and so come next year we're looking at obtaining some ground, building a new shop, and hiring some individuals. So I'm trying to play the long game and work on my ads, work on the website. But as of right now, I am at capacity as far as taking on work.
Yep.
It sounds like
So-
you want to get bigger. You want to.
Oh, yeah.
You're working to scale. So
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely love the video right here. That is phenomenal. That's if you go to Edgerton, they've got a great video. You have all your processes here. Again, for a one-man band, that's a lot. These from as we were talking about, like, broad terms, design, welding, fabrication, CNC, those are pretty broad. Now, what's a case or a situation that somebody's going to do a search to find you, right? Now, if they know the name, you're doing a great job here. This is that Google business profile that we were talking about. Look at that big chunk of real estate that you have. You've got 3 5-star reviews. So you're doing a great job there. Here's your website. Here's Facebook. Here's your LinkedIn profile, which is great. So you're doing a nice job there. So on some of those fronts, you're doing decent. Now, you mentioned Google ads. Addison, share a little bit, like, has that driven leads? What are some of your keywords? What does that look like?
So when we had Google ads turned on, we really wasn't generating good leads. We were getting calls from people out of state.
Yep.
That we couldn't even help them. So really the leads we were getting were bad leads. I did just turn it all on. I don't, right now it says my optimization score is 76%. And one-man band, I'm a welder. So that's all just kind of gibberish. It's not gibberish, but I don't understand some of it.
I guess so. Here's my feedback here on a couple fronts would be, Nicole, and I'd love for you to chime in, is I'm a big, we're all here today. The only reason I'm connected with LinkedIn or with the Purdue MEP is thanks to and through that, through LinkedIn. That's why I'm with my dear friend Nicole. That's why my dear friend Chris, Gene. So there's a nice, wonderful community of folks that are dedicated on LinkedIn to manufacturing. Chris Harrington was just here a few minutes ago. There was a woman named Diane Beyer. You know, it's a nice, wonderful group of people that are just fiercely dedicated to manufacturing. So Addison, if I was in your shoes, one thing to consider is like, hey, maybe get a little bit more active on LinkedIn. And Nicole, what does it cost to be on LinkedIn?
Zero. And I
Zero?
would second that. I have seen so much just opportunity and new partnerships that have come from LinkedIn, and it hasn't cost me a dime, but except my time. So
Yep.
I would agree with that.
We had a client that we were working with in Chicago. It's a husband and wife team, and they have, man, they're 4 times the size of you, Addison. They have 2 employees plus a husband and wife. The wife works there part-time. So they're about 3.5 times the size of you, but you know, very, very tiny shop. They're in Chicago, and the husband is he's constantly on LinkedIn and just like liking, commenting, just, you know, that's where he's at. You know, you've got a nice video here. You've got a nice video here. You know, maybe consider, you know, hey, you're a young guy, pull out your phone, maybe drop a couple videos here and there. And then my other suggestion would be, if I'm in your shoes, I would double down on Google Business Profile. The reason I would go double down on Google Business Profile is because it's going to be more local. So though maybe you can tackle things nationally, but since it looks like you do some of your different processes, maybe you want to find somebody that are more in your area or your region, and Google Business Profile would help you do that. So now if you shot a video, man, you could drop it on LinkedIn. You could drop it on Google Business Profile. It doesn't cost you a penny. You could do that literally in about 5 minutes. And now you're creating a little bit of a presence. And Nicole's always talking about that consistency. That would be a great place to potentially start, and you're not spending any money doing so.
Okay. I really appreciate that. I've really thought about the videos, and I definitely think it's a great idea.
So, and I'll just, you know, just so I'm not like just talking to talk, right? If I go back, let me get rid of this. If I go here, so I post on Google Business Profile multiple times a day. So let me do a Google search. And Nicole, it's like the other day all over again, right?
Drop the mic, Curt. Drop the mic.
I don't even know what's happening here, right? Okay, let's try this again. B2B tail. If I do a search for B2B tail, and okay, see over here, see all these videos. As a matter of fact,
Yes.
Gene, man, we did an interview with your colleague right here, man. Jeremiah was phenomenal. But I do all sorts of these LinkedIn lives. And Chris, you know, man, I don't know if I told you, we interviewed Jeremiah on Monday.
Yeah.
And oh my God, man, is that
He's
guy
amazing.
Oh, so just so take a look. If Addison, if somebody's out there, like somebody came to this webinar today, they're like, what was that dude's name? You know, he had some goofy business name. It was B2B Tel. If they do a search for me, see, I have this big chunk of real estate over here. And what I'm trying to do is like that know, like, trust. So here's all these videos over here. Take a look at this. All of these are videos as well. So I'm trying to get as much real estate as I can on that particular page. And I'm just using videos. Now, does it cost me time? Absolutely. Does it cost me any money out of pocket per se? No. So that's the value of videos and Google Business Profile, just from my perspective. Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully that helped. Any additional thoughts, questions, or what are you thinking?
No, I absolutely appreciate that. And I can think of some videos, and I'll definitely have to look into that and see if I can get that done.
Absolutely. Well, hey, well done. Thank you for joining us today. Again, we know, especially as a one-man band, we know how busy you are. You know, definitely connect with the folks at the Purdue Mep. They have all sorts of different resources, and even we interviewed this gentleman here. Jeremiah works at the Mep, and he shared. I think he started in 2017ish, and he even came out and said, he's like, man, I wish I knew about the Mep when he was running a manufacturing operation back in his previous career. So, you know, reach out to Gene or any of the folks at the Purdue Mep, and there might be some additional resources that could help you. So, Heather, Chris, yes, sir.
I mean, I know Addison's not into training, but I just had a company this week ask me if we knew any companies that could train their welders, and so that I connect that with the videos. it looks like not only is Addison a welder, but he's a high level sort of artistic type welder. So videos perhaps with what's processes and procedures and techniques and tips set your welding apart from other welders, right? Not just the basic TIG and welding. What is it that you do that takes your work to the next level? Those kinds of videos on your website as a potential idea.
Exactly. And Addison, as you're exactly with what Gene's saying, and since you're doing like it looks like some fun, unique things, or you know, with the metalworks or whatever the direction you're going. Now, quick question: can you make earrings that look like Nicole's? I'm just teasing. But Addison, as you're doing some cool things, maybe like, hey, just look what came hot off the press here at Schmidt.
I'll pay for a set to be sent to you, Curt.
You know, Curt, that would be awesome if you and I wore matching earrings.
You know what, Gene, truth be told, I think I need a halo, you know, just being Saint. Right, Chris? Do you buy?
That's stretching it. I think we need to call in the other Andersons. There's two other Andersons that I need to get their opinion on whether the halo is appropriate.
Thank goodness my wife's out. She's somewhere probably spending my money. I don't know. I'm just teasing. I don't know. So, but yeah, the halo.
In trouble.
The halo might not work. So, but Heather, any questions? Chris, any the other Chris that's on? Any questions that you guys have on your business, your website? And while you're thinking, Addison, so you know, say you did something hot off the press, put that keyword, put the name of the product in the title of that video. Put that title, you know, use that keyword on your website. Hey, look at this cool cutting edge thing that we make at Schmidt's, right? Look at this product, look at this widget, look at that Rick that we were talking about earlier. So that would be a really great SEO strategy on your end. Post that on LinkedIn, post it on YouTube, post it on Google Business Profile. It just takes a matter of minutes to do it. And that, I mean, say if you like with Nicole's term, like say every Tuesday you came out, or you know what, Schmidt Metalwork Mondays or something like that. Every Monday you're going to come out with a new video, just getting that cadence, and you're just going to see a lot of improvement.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I know, man, we got to get back to work. Nicole, we can't have fun like this all day, right? So if anybody has any questions, please reach out to Nicole, reach out to me. One more round of applause for Chris Pearson for joining us today. Thank you, Chris Pearson. I know you're super busy. Thank you for joining us. Heather, Chris, Addison, thank you guys. Reach out to Gene. Gene, thank you. Let's hear another round of applause for Gene at the Purdue MEP. Round of applause. How about a round of applause for Nicole Donnelly? She's over here on my screen. Nicole, way to go. So, all right, guys. Hey, God bless everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Okay, peace.
See you, Curt. See you, Nicole. See you, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.